When's winter coming, right? It's on your mind. We're going to chat a little bit about when actual winter weather can arrive for a lot of us, but it's the same story. This is well above average warm temperatures across a pretty big portion of the east and central U.S. until notice. Cold starting to lock its way up into Canada. It's Arctic cold. It's polar cold. And bring it on in. Wow, what a change. This is the coldest there of the season, the most widespread blast, and it's going to rotate around for a few days late next week. So that's going to be a pattern change. It doesn't mean it sustains itself forever, but the cold starts to take place in the northwest, still very, very mild for the eastern half of the country through the middle of the week, and then comes a cold front, and that is going to definitely change the game a little bit. These are your high temperatures as we go throughout portions of the late portions of the week into the weekend at times, only reaching 30s, maybe a couple 40s, but even some 20s in spots. Definitely winter type weather. What's going to be the trigger? It's this upper air energy, this rotation in the atmosphere, this spin. It's going to pull down a big system and bring in that big batch of cold Canadian air with a little bit of that polar vortex type intrusion for a few days. And then it might reload a little bit early December time frame. La Nina conditions definitely seen here into the Pacific Ocean, that equatorial region, below average sea surface temperature anomalies, and that does help continue to promote that later November, early December, more wintry type weather. This is the first system, though. It's just going to be rain, moderate to even briefly heavy rain with a new low pressure system and severe weather risk into the Carolinas going through the Thursday period, and then high pressure builds on in after that. We'll see some snow into the high terrain of the northwest, and then a lot of rain in the Pacific Northwest coming in over the weekend into early next week without a ton going on further off towards the east until this system forms. And this is going to be that catalyst of change. It's going to wrap around here and it's going to pull down that cold air, and that's when you're going to start to see the snow. Are you going to see snow in your area, in portions of St. Louis, in DC, and New York? Well, no, not in most spots, but it's that change of at least the temperatures and some lake effect snow flurries and maybe some organized snow bands in a few spots. Before we get there, it's a good solid 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches of rain across the east with this whole system coming on through, some into the middle portion of the country, and then a ton of rain into the Pacific Northwest of 2 to 4 inches, even some spots over 5 inches of rainfall. How much snow with this system? Not a ton. It's going to be kind of splotchy, but a few spots here in the Intermountain West definitely picking up a few to several inches of snow, but not Colorado, not New Mexico anymore. And you slide off towards the east, there's nothing throughout the next week. But again, that changes the end portions of next week. But until we get there, it's very warm out across the east and the cold stays to the west. So that pattern kind of flip-flops a little bit, at least at times, later on this month. We just got to wait for it.